What is going on, everybody? Hope you can hear me. Hope you can see me. Thank you for your patience. When I was first thinking about today's show, which was on Tuesday, because I was on Cowboy and Your Mama Knows podcast. Actually, that was on Monday. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And so I was expecting this week to be extremely, um, kind of like extremely quiet. And like in the last like 24, 36 hours, thanks to Zalik, thanks to Amy, thanks to a few of you all, there's actually a lot of stuff. And then thanks to just the world turning. So like there is a lot of new, like there's a lot going on. And it's kind of at the intersection of like business and gaming. Some of it's tangential to gaming. So we're going to talk about that. Some of it is also like, Rouster had said last week when I did like the Friday special, Rouster was like, "Hey, I think tariffs are more important than some like leadership shakeup, right?" Which I totally agree. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and probably why I am somewhat non-committal or like I don't really have a lot of comment on it, but we're still going to talk about it a little bit because I think it's worth talking about. But yeah, there is a lot going on. Uh so hopefully hey Cherry Man, if I did not tell you on stream last week, happy birthday to Cherry Man. Y'all know he celebrated his birthday on last week. So I did not get to say that. So happy birthday to Cherry Man. Um but yeah, like I have some trailers. Like I just have a lot. I have a lot to say about a lot of things. So, we're gonna get started. Like I think the way we're going to do this today is we're going to talk about like some of the low hanging fruit, right? And then we're going to talk about like some of the higher hanging fruit, like, things that I probably would have made the entire show off of. And then we're going to probably talk about like some bigger, like, this is pretty big type of stuff. And so, first of all, what I do want to start off with is something that probably would have been its own show. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's like 5 different topics today that each of them would have been the marquee show. So, if you don't realize how I do it, I usually start off with like kind of the not so big things and then build up to the bigger things because usually, like, it gets me energy talking about some of this. So, we're going to start off with one that kind of went by the wayside until Zalik pointed it out. So I do want to bring that up. And that is this game, Ashes of Creation. So I don't know if anybody's been following this story. I definitely wasn't. So shout out to Zalik on this one. Uh, so if you haven't known, Ashes of Creation is basic. Let me see if I have another image of that where we can both be on the screen at the same time. Here it is. Ashes of Creation was originally like this MMORPG, had like a Kickstarter, had got some funding, and then as bad business practices happen, they got in some trouble. And they got in some kind of big trouble because they not only ran out of money, but they kind of broke some laws along the line, along with that. Uh, the video Jose has seen, if y'all want to go into the Discord, go ahead, check it out. It's a lawyer talking about it. Probably we're probably very similar backgrounds, except he takes it from a legal standpoint. I take it from a business standpoint. We probably interacted like in the past somehow, but he thinks it's like one of the biggest like fraud cases in gaming. I would say that I think it's fairly large, right? We're talking about over like $100 million in mismanagement and just a lot of bad things, like where you lay off the entire staff. You've now taken money from customers, so Kickstarters, like kind of mismanaged that. It seems like he's fighting the board at the same time that he's fighting some major legal things. But yeah, it is a story that I would say is, I think, gonna be a little too common as we go over the next 2 years. And then you're gonna hear the same theme over and over. Why I think, like, the next 2 years is, like, really big. It's actually probably the through line of a lot of my, like, kind of discourse today, which is gonna be over the next 2 years, you're gonna see a lot of, like, things where we're like, "Oh, that's the biggest of this," or, "Oh, that's a shame of that." And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in one of the other stories because I think it ties it together better. But yeah, Ashes of Creation. This is a I mean, it wasn't really it's kind of an indie like dev type of situation. So it really didn't hit me that hard, but it's still the same thing. Business owners doing bad things. So like to give you an example, what they were doing, they were taking loans out and utilizing the loan amount like that you receive and reporting it as revenue to get a bigger loan out, right? And so anybody who's done anything with loans realize that's a bad recipe, right? Anytime like I take a loan out and report it as income or revenue, you're now kind of like uh, bad, right? Because you're gonna have to pay that other loan, and then you're about to take out another loan, and I guess you're trying to hope that you're gonna turn a corner. Which, again, I don't think any. I think most people who find themselves in these situations really mean well, except just because you can have access to a lot of money, just because you have a lot of money, just because you're a business owner or co-owner doesn't mean you're actually good with money, right? And I think that goes the other way around. Like just because you don't necessarily have money doesn't mean you couldn't be good at money. Like, right? I think those are I think we get that twisted in a weird way. And this is like a critique on maybe on our society, but we somehow give people who have money as like this pass, like, oh, they must be so much smarter. And one of the benefits that I think is going to come out over the next 2 years is just a reminder that sometimes the people with the most money aren't the smartest. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, that fits that bill. A guy whose name starts with T, whose last name begins with T, that fits that bill. T Boom Pickens? No, that's P. Oh, I don't know. There's a bunch of them. But yeah, I could see that. And so yeah, so that is Ashes of Creation. I wish Daylick was here because I know it was her story, and I really wanted to like I did look into it, and I think it's interesting, right? That you had a lot of this game was 9 years in production, so that's another thing. Like 9 years, so that's like 2017 timeframe, 2017, 2016, 2018. And that's really interesting because that's like right as like games as a service was really picking up. Like this is coming on the heels of Overwatch being game of the year. Like people forget that. Like Overwatch was game of the year. And like this really big flood of like capital going into gaming, which then eventually takes us into the COVID situation where we had a ton of money coming into gaming. And then we see kind of like what's happening now, which is gaming isn't collapsing. So I want to make that clear, but it is flatlining. And so when you're expecting some huge player base, you've invested a ton, and you're expecting that player base to not only like come, but like give you enough money that you can cover your ongoing operations plus your like loan amount and interest payments. That's a recipe for bad news, right? Like especially as consumer choice is changing. Hey Audi, that's an interesting part of experience. I ran like a choir. You ran like a choir this IP since a choir. You ran like a choir. It's a distress as to what I came up was 150 million of ashes of creation. Whoa. Oh, I ran like acquiring this IP since it's distress set, but I can't 150 for that IP. I probably it's cheaper than that. I always say if you're going to purchase, we're going to be talking about purchasing IP because I said there's a lot of big news coming up. I don't know. Like, I don't even know. I think the name Ashes of Creation sounds pretty good. To tell you the truth, it sounds like an indie, like self-published book. Sounds like some like self-published, uh, I don't know, book in a anthology about like romance and fantasy, kind of. You know what I mean? With angels and demons and humans. I mean, thinking about that, that would be an interesting kind of book to write. But yeah, that's what I get from it. That's what I get from this one. But yeah, that's where this one is. I think someone's gonna go to jail at the end of this. We shall see. A lot of money. A lot of money being thrown around on that one. So you know, if Zayla comes, we may touch on it again. She kind of shared the video, but ultimately, yeah, it's a I think it's going to be the beginning of many fraud cases within the entertainment industry, particularly within the gaming industry. Because if you're trying to launch a new game and you're taking out more than like $20 million, you're going to probably have a hard time paying that back. All right. So, with that said, let's get to a movie, video, a trailer, and then we're going to come to another story. All right. So, with that, let's do a trailer. So that is, as you can see, Blade of Wiz. So someone asked me, like, "Hey, Purple, have you noticed like a lot of these games coming out look a lot kind of like Diablo-esque?" And hey, Crow, what's going on? Hey, thank you, Amy. We know these people. I love this noisy, simpleton, Rudigs, Finna Cook Ya. We don't know Finna Cook Ya. And Billy. Oh, we remember Billy. So cool to see these people. Thank you so much, Amby. Um, but yeah, someone asked me, they were like, "Hey, Purple, have you noticed like a lot of these games look very similar?" And I was like, "Actually, I do." But it kind of makes sense to me because if we think about what was going on like 3 years ago when a lot of these games were probably being pitched and developed, what was going on? Well, that's kind of around the same time we had a lot of layoffs at Blizzard. If you remember that situation with Bobby Kotick and the layoffs that preceded the Activision Blizzard deal being announced, and the layoffs that continued throughout the Activision Blizzard sale, as well as the layoffs that happened afterwards, and particularly at Blizzard. And so if you're someone who like your gaming credentials rely on Blizzard and one Diablo or Diablo, You're gonna like create games that kind of look like that. So to me, I think we're gonna continue to see this like thread of games that, even though that's action roguelite, which is very different than Diablo, um, I think we're gonna get a lot of that style coming through. Uh, just because I think those people are on the market, and that's kind of what they know, like just like anybody else. Hopefully we get like one or two that are pretty solid, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a lot that are just kind of like good. Like I don't think we're gonna get bad versions, but I'm not sure if they're all any of them are gonna be like standout versions. So we shall see about that. But let me know what y'all think. A rogue like, not light. Again, Rouster, we don't know what that actually means, but it makes sense. It looks like a Hades, like the art and UI design. It did look like Hades, how he was moving. I totally agree. I say, but I still like the camera angle to me is like, oh, gee, it's still Diablo-esque, just like the throwing around. But I agree. I think I think both can be true. Um, in that road. Did you hear about another life sim being canceled by Midsummer Studios? I did. Which one? So I did hear about quality of life updates potentially happening for The Sims Rebellica. I did see that. I did not. I could not verify those. Or I could verify them, but I didn't quite understand the quality of life updates. So, but I did not hear about a life sim being being canceled. Isometric camera angle. Is that what it's called? Because I remember someone was telling me, remember that stealth game that came out last year? It was like about this girl, and it's like she had a brother, and her brother did something. People kept saying like that was isometric. And so I couldn't quite understand if that was like the camera angle or the art style. But that makes sense if that's what that means. Um, but I think that's like an easy, I I think for an off the shelf thing, like that's fairly easy to recreate off the shelf is that type of game. Um and then it's gonna all depend on, your abilities and your animations and your story. But again, like how I don't want to say it, but maybe the game's like 15 to 20 years late, maybe 25 years. I don't know. Um, I'm not sure, like excuse me, I hiccuped up. I think there's maybe a place for it. I'm just not sure if it's right now. Makes sense. Yeah, that's over the shoulder Diablo view. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Thank you. Learn something new all the time. Um, let me see. Let me see it. In Simpleton had a statement. I didn't see it. Blizzard should sue them. But yeah, maybe. I don't know if I told you it's hard to sue because then you're gonna have to like, does Blizzard own the patent or the trademark or like, do they own the art style? I don't know if they own the art style. They may own like the Diablo name, but there's a point. That one might be hard, but it does look similar. I will agree. All right, all right, all right. So we got another story that I think is kind of falls in the same lane. Not as big of a scandal, not a scandy, but something I think is pretty interesting. So you all who are looking for a gaming tablet, now's your time to get one from the Kojima one. So Kojima, yes, that Kojima is making a Asus ROG Flow C13 gaming tablet. Now, I think we may have a picture of this. I think we may have a picture. So, yeah, 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 yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So for y'all who want this thing, this is the Kojima. This is what it looks like. So if you're looking for a gaming tablet and you're looking for the one that Kojima made, um, this is it. This is your chance to get it. I mean, I'm not a big Kojima fan, But the same way I feel about this is like what I feel about um like if y'all remember when iPods first came out, there was an iPod, and I may have told y'all this story. There was an iPod that was like a U2 iPod. Like remember the group U2? Um, and it had like it was black, it had a red bezel, and it was silver on the back with like engraved signatures. I know this because I had it. And at the time I was like I didn't get it because it was U2. I just got it because it was like it looked different and it was only like $40 more. And I use that thing like all the time. Flash forward to today, and that thing's like worth like 10 times what I spent on it. So who knows? Maybe the Kojima tablet will also be a worthwhile investment in hardware. But yeah, so if you want your own Kojima gaming tablet, I don't even know what that really means, a gaming tablet. Is that like a gaming laptop? I think so. I think so. Someone should create an AI bot and let it life play out in Sims 24/7 and charge people to watch them like the Truman Show. I bet you, simpleton, I think you can do it. Hopefully, it's a walking tablet. Oh, I see what you. It's 4K. I don't know. Maybe it is going to be worth it. Like maybe there's a limited number of these, and Kojima like comes out with like some amazing game. Like let's say, let's. Oh, what about this? Let's say Kojima becomes like Quentin Tarantino-esque, right? Let's say like Kojima makes his like final game, the Xbox horror one, and he then goes into like the movie making business. And it's like he's like a movie person now. And then it's like, oh wow, we should have got the Kojima tablet. No, maybe? No, Kojima tech. Nope, I see what he's doing. That thing will turn into a Metal Gear. You think so? There's a challenge that Simmers do where they create a house and put some Sims in, then let it run for 24 hours with autonomy on. Ooh, Rebellic, have you done this one? Yeah, it's a Windows gaming laptop. Oh, it's like a Kojima gaming laptop that just so happens to have Windows on it. No, because like the people who are like really into Kojima, like there's like some people who are like, oh my goodness, Kojima made this. It is so amazing. I personally don't see it. Like I'm gonna be very honest. I've tried playing what's the one with the baby and they're walking? Death Stranding. I tried playing it. Like, don't get me wrong, like I think it's like interesting, but the second like I run into like ghosts, like the things and they take all my equipment away and I gotta walk around a mountain, I'm like, this is too much work. Like, this is too much work. And then I guess what Metal Gear is the other thing. I know Obi Rose like cried, I guess, when he first oh, Metal Gear Snake Eater or whatever. I know Obi Rose Kenobi keeps that like dear to his heart. But still, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm just not like a Kojima. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I just don't see it. Hey, that's me. Jeff Keighley probably would, because Jeff Keighley likes anybody who brings viewers to his show. They only touch the game for things like stuck sims, errors, etc. I think that would be kind of cool. I would maybe do it. But do I have 20 hours to do something like this? But I thought you have to let it go. I thought you said you just let it go run for autonomy mode. Like I could see that happening. You're just like, hey guys, I'm just unstucking a sim, and then you just go off and do stuff again. I could see that. I could see it. Yeah, I would tune in because I probably would be able to catch it at some point within 24 hours. I know, not really. I will watch it. All right. So that is the Kojima laptop situation. I mean, we got a lot going on. We got a lot going on. We got a lot going on. So I'm gonna show y'all this one's really quick, and then I'm gonna do a movie trailer, and then we're gonna get into like some more juicy stuff, right? So Marvel Wolverine is coming to PlayStation September 15th. So this is actually really, really cool because this game got leaked like 3 years ago. The footage wasn't all that great. And then like last year around this time, they said like they kind of showed some new footage. And I mean, I'm not like I like Wolverine. Let me preference that. I'm kind of like neutral on Wolverine, right? Like I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's amazing, it's Wolverine. But I'm also gonna be like, it's not like I don't like Wolverine. Like my like Wolverine is above Kirby. Let me say it like that. Wolverine is above Kirby. And so given that, like I'm we'll see. I'm curious if this game how this game compares to like the Spider-Man games. It's obviously a PlayStation exclusive that's been coming out. So that's good. That should be interesting. And we're going to be talking about PlayStation exclusives here for a second. We're going to be talking about it for a second, but first let's get to some stuff. Wolverine looks cool. You think so? I'll have to talk to Granite. He keeps using my computer to play Dune and Orcs Must Die. Well, those are Ravalica. I mean, you should be honored that he would use it for that. Like, come on. Oh my goodness. It's a day one buy after reviews for me. So it's a potential. Is that what you're saying, Amby? It's a potential? That's one way to look at it. It's a potential. All right. Well, I got a pretty cool puzzle game. I saw like Amby showed me this game and Amy's like, I don't get it. And I was like, what do you mean you don't get it? And so here we are. Here's the game. Triangular. Here it is.
Everything starts with a dot. Look closer. Find the hidden pattern. Reveal the form. Time stands still. Logic. Structure. Balance. Connect. Harmony is not given. It is restored. Chaos turns into art. Triz. Play the demo.
So that was Triz. Puzzles are not for you. Obviously, I thought it looked pretty cool. I don't like that Wolverine game. Ooh, Audi, we haven't even played it. Audi's like, I'm not doing that one. But that was Triz. I thought it looked kind of cool. It reminds me. So back on Windows 98, yes, I'm going back to Windows 98. Back on Windows 98, there was a game called Spring Puzzle Frenzy. And that game was like you would move things around to try to like create an image using like springtime pictures. And it looks like either relaxing or migraine inducing. It could be both. It could be both with the colors for sure. But I could definitely see like you're trying to get like you're trying to you start with like a dot and you're pulling it out and there's only probably so many ways you can do it and you can rotate it and you can then move the dot again. You probably only have a certain number of moves to make the image. Um and then you make like to me that's definitely probably I wonder if how it would play. Actually, I wonder how it would play on mobile. I could see myself like giving it a run on mobile. But yeah, so that I thought it looked cool. Like for me personally, I thought it looked cool. Um, would I play it on PC? That's a good question. That's a good question. Um, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Like I think it's cool. I feel like if it was in front of me, sure, I would probably sing sometime. Like if I was on a plane, you know what I mean? Like where I don't really like reading on planes. I don't really like sometimes I like watching movies on 'em, but, like, if I was just there, then I would probably play it. It would definitely be one of those things, like, it's in between other activities. Hey, Nathan Fisher, how are you? I love Maroon, but I won't be playing it until it's on PC. Crow, it may not come to PC. Crow, it may not come to PC. We're about to talk about this. Cool. I would play it. I would too. I would too. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. But since Crow brought it up, I didn't bring it up. Crow brought it up, y'all. Crow brought it up. So this is coming from Jeff Janak. The only thing he put it on Twitter. I was hoping he would make it on Blue Sky, but he put it on Twitter. I was able to see it. So Jeff, if you're out there, please put it on Blue Sky again. I hardly go on Twitter. But look at that. Look at that. So if you're reading this, what it actually sums up is Jason Schreier, who is the Bloomberg game writer person. Jason Schreier is essentially saying he does not think he thinks Sony PlayStation will be moving away from putting their games on PC. That's coming from Jason Schreier. He says he has some more information. Let me actually do this because I want to talk about this while I'm on the screen with it. And it always does it like that. But yes, that's what Jason Schreier is saying. If y'all remember, I made a video about Sony's strategy last, I want to say it was in March. You can go on my channel, look it up. It's like a Sony advantages. It's kind of like when I did one for Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony. And I kind of said that I thought Sony would be less likely to go everything on, every platform or even on PC. I thought that there could be some pulling back on it. Obviously, Jason Schreier is hearing some things on this. I'm not, again, this is just me thinking through this one. I hate Sony. Crow, let us know how you really feel. I was never a fan of Sony because they have a similar practice to Apple. Interesting. So you hate Apple too, Rouster. That's a 2-for-1. Um, but here's why I ultimately think there might be some merit to this. Okay. They've put enough titles on PC. Like they have the data points to say like, hey Daytona, they have the data points to say like, here's how much PC adds to a franchise, here's how much it takes away from a franchise. But the interesting thing, I put the Jason Schreier article on your Discord. Did you so well, thank you, Crow. Thank you. I saw it from Jeff. So I saw it first from Jeff, but if you did, so thank you so much. And so here's just my logic to it is that Sony has an ecosystem. Apple has an ecosystem. Nintendo has an ecosystem that is very like unique to their storefront, which is very unique to their um to their hardware, right? And so anytime you take something that's very unique to that storefront and put it somewhere else, now you have to see exactly what, let me see this. You have to see exactly what, like, does it add? Does it not add? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? I always felt like Xbox was in a very unique situation in regards to this. So Crazy Louie, who y'all recall, said he would come onto the show if there was any bad news with Xbox. He has not come on the show today yet. But Microsoft was in a little bit different situation because Windows is PC. You know what I mean? Like, so I always felt like Xbox in this regard, like it made sense for them to do it. But with Sony, I felt like there's a point to where I would actually see them maybe not lean so far into it. Multiplayer, 100%. You need the biggest player base possible. But if your player base is really coming there because of the unique experience, kind of behooves to have a PlayStation, especially if PC prices continue to rise or PC part prices continue to rise. I could see where PlayStation offers a very compelling reason to play their games there on their hardware. And I just always felt like that's hard to kind of like square with putting something on like another storefront. I could be wrong, but here we go. We do have this other story coming. We also, so let me back there. Let me back on this one. Let me come back. Let me come back. So that's kind of what I believe on that. But we do have crows here. Um, this is Crow now saying backing. This is Crow. This is your article, if I'm not mistaken. Again, exactly what I just said, single player rather than multiplayer. Uh, so we'll see. We'll see what happens on this. We'll see what happens. What I mean, I know some of y'all have PCs. Just barely put it on Discord. I got it, Crow. We got it. We got producers in the background who are making this thing happen in real time. What does that, Daytona? I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Um, yeah. So that is the one Crow put up as well. They both are looking at it. But if you want, like I feel like a good job representing Sony's strategy in the video I did last year. It's something like Sony's advantages or something. It's something like that. And you'll see there's like an Xbox one, a Sony one, a Nintendo one. And to me, Sony, we talked about it last week when people were like, hey, do I think that the shakeup at Xbox is going to have any impact on Sony? And I always felt like if you want to like solid business model for a console, you don't look at Xbox, right? You look at Nintendo. And Nintendo's kind of like somewhat arrogant, I would say, in the fact that they're like, no, we don't put it on PC and we're still able to maintain a player base. And I would think Sony would look at that too and say, yeah, like if you're looking at the two, you're saying, well, this one does well. This one doesn't seem to be having anything work in their favor. We're going to try to be like that one. Not to say that they cannot change that, but I always just felt like the thing where a lot of PC players thinking console game war stuff. I always felt like the PC crowd was maybe a little also a little arrogant in thinking that everything would automatically come to PC because I think there are business models. There's enough data I feel like where there are some games that console players play more than PC players, and there's a ton of games that make sense to play on PC. Like I continue to think there are definitely overlaps, and there's people who will play everything on just one. But I also think there's something to be said about like a PlayStation player base and marketing to them versus potentially marketing to them and then having a side on for PC. Just my just my theory. But obviously Jason is hearing some stuff as well. As long as Sony can make more profit by keeping their games on their own hardware, it makes sense. It does cost more money to put a game on multiple platforms. Yeah, I think it costs more money and potentially it's kind of the thing. Like if you're on PC, you're gonna try to spend more stuff on PC. Like you're gonna try to get, for the most part, more bang for your buck if you're buying hardware, right? If that's a console, if that's a PC, if that's a phone, you're gonna try to do more there. And like for me, why do you'll notice like I have them all. But for right now, it's like I spend more time on Nintendo, so I would rather just spend time there and invest in that one. Doesn't mean that I won't go on Xbox, right? Doesn't mean I won't go on PlayStation. It does mean I will not go on PC because I do not like gaming on PC. But it just like that's consumer behavior. Like I think the number of people who are like Ray the guy gaming cyborg. Ray is a great example because Ray has like everything. Or Lion. Like these are or Geek to Sneak, right? All of these people, like they are truly like omnipresent gamers. Like they'll play on like everything. But I think most people are like that's like my one thing, you know? It's like having a car. Like even if you have multiple cars, like there's like one car where you're like, that's the family car, or there's one car and you're like, that's the workhorse, or there's one car and you're like, that's the sports car. Okay, I get it. Not too many people have like three cars just to have three cars, but you get what I'm saying. Like you usually have just like that one, and that's where you want to do stuff on. And I think Sony's figured this one out. Like the people who want to play Sony games will most likely gravitate to Sony hardware. And there's probably some people they're going to miss, but how many is that? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Car. Did I mispronounce it? I mispronounce words all the time. I do. I do. I mispronounce things all the time. But so that's Jeff's tweet. Like I said, that I would have probably went all in because I called that. Like everybody, you can go look at the video and look at the comments on that video, and there's like a lot of unless you're Rune's like purple, you see the light. But if you're like arguing with me on it, I'm giving you like my thought on this, and it's kind of cool to see um someone in like I respect Bloomberg's publication. I respect Jason Schreier. I think I showed y'all I did get his book, his last book about Blizzard, and I got it signed. So like Jason, obviously he agrees with me, so I'm gonna like him. No, but in all honesty, I think um it does feel affirming when I call something like a year in advance and it happens. So go check. I think he's going to probably come out with a really big article on it. It totally makes sense to me. Anytime we did a Sony, I think in the summer I did like a Sony special stream. I forget what that was for. I forget what that was for, but I think it was with Porter Rock. I remember I was criticizing Porter Rock, but I can't remember what we were talking about. But I remember I was criticizing Porter Rock and just saying like I don't think Sony is going to put their stuff on Xbox. I was like, I actually think the opposite. And so there's that. There's that. There's that. All right. How's it going, Mr. Daytona? Has like 5 cars. I don't. We do. The next game is the name of a car I want to buy though. Um, there was a job posting. Was that it, Wit? It was the job posting. It was starting to come back to me. But yeah, and like I like the whole Sony community, I was like, no, I don't think that's what they're gonna do, you know? And especially with just the shambles of like, I don't know, the argument could be made. Did Xbox make the right choice by saying everything's an Xbox? You know, we haven't talked about that. That was going to I didn't really want to talk about Xbox too much because we did a special stream on Xbox. I spent like 7 hours on Cowboy Stream talking about Xbox. But there is something to be said. Like there is some cleanup there. I am very alarmed that they're trying to blame Sarah Bond for a lot of things. If you have not been looking at the drama that's going on with Xbox, they're kind of throwing Sarah Bond under the bus, which that really troubles me for a couple of reasons. Um, and part of it, they're saying, "Oh, everything's in Xbox is Sarah Bond's doing," and it's like, okay, y'all, like it takes more than Sarah Bond to create that. Like all of y'all were on board with that, and it's a little too convenient for me to not state the obvious of why they're picking Sarah Bond to do that with. We can talk more about that, like because I have like a lot of strong feelings about that. But ultimately, the question, I'll just, keep it somewhat neutral. Is it worth, was it worth it? Or what are they seeing that we're not quite seeing yet? I don't know what that is. For some multi-platform role at Sony or something. Yeah, it was like something. Uh, so we'll see. We'll see. And there goes Daytona going at roster again. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So we're gonna kind of pivot here because I kind of foreshadowed the car I am gonna buy. So this is the car I want to buy, but it's a game. The name of the game is the car I want to buy. All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Eric Manahan, the developer behind Lucid. Lucid is a story about perseverance, identity, and finding your spark in a fractured world. It's inspired by platformers I grew up with, but shaped by my own journey as a developer. You are Owen, a junior sentinel on the brink of proving yourself in a world shattered by forces far older than memory. In Lucid, you'll explore a crystal punk world scarred by calamity. Dash, slash, and pulse your way through environments with an evolving arsenal of tools, each one built with speed, precision, and expression in mind. Unleash crystal arts like the blade, spear, and axe, each reshaping how you move, fight, and explore. No path is ever final. Every new power unveils new routes. Secrets lurk in every corner, and the bold are always rewarded. You won't face this journey alone. From reclusive forest dwellers to allies in crumbling cities, every character has a story and every encounter leaves a mark. Face towering bosses that test more than just your reflexes. Adapt, grow, and overcome with skill and intuition. Forge your build, attune your powers, carve your own way through the fractured world of Eden. This isn't just a platformer, this is Lucid. See the world translucently and play the Lucid demo today.
So that's Lucid. I put it in there because of the name Lucid. It is like a Metroidvania, but I put it in there because Lucid, and I like Lucid cars. And I see Audi here with Sarah. Audi, I gotta ask you, when were you there? Because you said you worked with Aisha, but Aisha just got there. So I gotta ask, like, I mean, that's one hell of a pivot from Xbox to Nintendo. But and I don't even know if that would be out there if that was. I did not see any cars. Lucid is a car. Go look up the Lucid car. The Lucid car brand, not the. I went in there for Lucid. At the end of the day, it comes down to what they call a win. If it's a software sales, then yes, everything's in Xbox is the play. If a win is hardware sales, then it's hard. No. Interesting. Hey, Obi, we were just talking about you earlier today with Kojima. Um, but it's true, Xbox in trouble with new CEO. Could be. It could be. Like I said, I am more than happy to talk more about it. Yes, Miss Daytona, you got it. Lucid Motor. It has a bear as an icon, as a mascot. I don't know. I got to drive one, and but I didn't get to drive the one I want. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But when we talk about where were we talking about, like the win, I don't even think it comes down to software sales versus hardware sales. It just really comes down to, like, to your point, like, is a win profitable? Right. So I forget the Larian Studios, the ones who make Baldur's Gate 3. If you talk to Larian and their CEO, he would say a win is like, I can keep the lights on, I can make a little bit more money to help me with my next game, and then that's how we do it. Right? So, like, being like slightly in the black or slightly profitable, he would say is a win, right? If you talk to, like, this guy who made this game, like, a win is probably just completing the game and getting like a few hundred people to play the game, right? To purchase the game. It seems like it's a passion project, seems like it's his, like, journey, like, that's a win. If you're talking about Nintendo, like, obviously Nintendo has, like, a historical profit margin, that they like to hit, anything that further establishes their IP, because they're, like, trying to roll into, like, theme parks and movies and plushies and, like, that's a win. Xbox, I feel like the thing with Xbox is to be a win, you almost have to be a win in Microsoft, like their viewpoint. And I just don't think gaming works like that. Sure, there's some games that like print money, but a lot of times that's like mobile, right? Sometimes that's maybe a Call of Duty on a good year. Like, don't get me wrong, they make money, but they don't make money similar to like selling licenses to Windows for like to a business, right? They don't make money like buying cloud storage space for Azure, right? So I kind of like that's my thing, when it comes to what is a win versus what's not a win. You know what I mean? And I thought I had something. Let me see. I thought I had something here to kind of further illustrate this. So if y'all caught me on Cowboy Show late, I gave a prediction. And this was on Monday, but mind you. So while everybody was still talking about the CEO shakeup, I made a prediction. I actually said I think the best path forward for Xbox eventually is a spin-off. Like meaning Xbox goes its separate way and they set it up as its own company and Microsoft keeps going its way, right? I said that on his show. Zalik, thought it was interesting. And just so y'all know, a spin-off isn't quite a divestiture. Like a divestiture, you're selling it to someone else a lot of times. A spin-off is literally like you set it up as their own company. And so we're not gonna spend too much time on this, but again, I gotta showcase it when I see it. And this is coming from I forget who this is coming from, but Xbox Task Force is spun off to be a free of Microsoft, says an analyst. So that literally came out today, right? And it's a thing. Like I don't know. Sometimes you may be like, yeah, this random curly head chick named Purple. Sometimes she gets it right. Um, but yeah, I think that to me that makes the most sense. I don't Now, just because it makes the most sense, as we're about to find out, doesn't mean it is going to happen. But it does seem like, how should I say it? It seems like they're leaving that option open. Like there's some things they could do where that option closes, but it does seem like that option is still an option. I'll say it like that. Purple, check out the Porsche Taycan GTS Sports. So I know a lot about Porsche. I know a lot about Porsche. I know a lot about the Taycan. I totally hear you. But the thing is, if I got a Porsche, it would be a combustible engine 911. I know you're like, what are you doing with a 911? It is because I think 911s are sexy. So like I would get a combustible engine Porsche, but what is driving me towards the Lucid is actually the Lucid Gravity. Because so just y'all know what a 911 Porsche is. It's iconic Porsche. A Lucid Gravity is the Lucid SUV, and what's driving me that direction is because, and this is why, like, people are like, "Purple, you took your mom and brother," and yes, I did. And my mom and brother are like, "We need an SUV," and I'm like, "Okay." So I like what that looks like. I have this random image that Remy and I, he's down there. We'll just go like car camping. I forget what that's called. I feel like I could do that with like the Gravity. So yeah, the Lucid Gravity is kind of where I'm leaning. But I hear you. I hear you. No worries, Roster. Go pick her up. Hopefully all is well. Oh, I did. Oh, wait. Were you the analyst? Was that? Hey, Lo-Fi. 911 Turbo is my dream car. 911. What is it? It's the 911, not the GT, because that one's loud. It's like, I forget what it is. The one I like. It's a turbo, but it's not a GT. I forget it. I'll remember it by the end of the show, but there's one I like a lot. 911 Turbo S. I think that's what it is. That's what I like. Marathon sent me here. Hey, Ron Susher. But yeah, I did. I told you. So we'll see. I was not the analyst. It just makes the most sense. It makes the most sense. But there's some reasons why it doesn't make sense. So I do want to be like very cognizant of that. But ultimately, it just makes sense because the more like gaming goes this way and like tech this way, it just makes sense that you actually like let this thing live on its own. Which again, what that would look like is basically ABK with traditional Xbox like Xbox IP. Um, and this one looks like you still will get like what you need for AI supercomputing, whatever the heck you're going on that front. So yeah. Shades of Purple, Epidemic 1000 featuring Run Slusher. Epidemic episode? Ron, you're always welcome. Ron, you're always welcome. But yeah, so that is, Microsoft, like I said, more than willing. Really, where I'm at with Microsoft is I wish them the best of luck with where they're at. I actually just think it's a classic glass cliff situation, and indirectly, they've set up that team to fail. Not maliciously, but just very naively have set that team up to fail. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So we're gonna show another video. Then we're gonna get to the big one. We're gonna get two big ones, two big ones, two big ones. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here's the next trailer. That is Miss Fall Hunter. It actually looks pretty good to me. Again, it's something I would probably wait until it's convenient. It's not something I would just like go out and play on PC. But I put it in there. It looked pretty cool. So let me know if that got you excited. I know it's not the puzzle game that I showed earlier, but it's cool. It looks cool. I have 8 bullet points to talk to you about this week. 8 bullet points. So start putting them in, Aldi. Start putting them in. Because that's a lot. Start putting them in. I'll try to get to them as I see them. All right. So here is the big one. So we're gonna do 2 big ones back to back. One of them is Rouster, so I want to wait till Rouster gets back. And that's gonna be the tariff conversation. The first one I want to talk about though is the Warner Brothers Netflix Paramount deal, which is now just Paramount and Warner Brothers. So I don't think I have the Rain one. So if y'all saw earlier, Cowboy King of Entertainment had put this in earlier and basically saying that we knew this was going to happen. We knew that Paramount was going to try to make a deal that was better. And they did. They raised their offer from $30 a share to $31 per share. Amazing, right? So they did super cool right there. And it started a clock, right? It started a clock to start ticking down for Netflix to counter. Now, y'all know where I stood on this. I always said I thought Netflix was going to win this deal. I thought Netflix had more capital. And just because they did doesn't mean they are going to use it. Because now what we have is this. And this is what I was talking about in the Discord to Rabolica earlier today. Netflix backs out of the Warner Brothers bidding Paramount set to win. All right. So what does this mean? And I'm telling you, this to me, this is big. If y'all thought I was like, if y'all thought I was negative on ABK, I am super negative on this deal from multiple angles. All right, so let me first let me first talk about a couple of things. All right, congratulations to Paramount. Right, Paramount right now is set to spend $111 billion. This is not only the largest buyout, this is the largest leverage buyout by a long shot. And last time we talked about leverage buyouts, that is when you are a smaller company entity and you leverage the assets of the larger company to essentially get a loan to buy a larger company. And then you use, theoretically on paper, the synergies that you think you're going to achieve and the revenue that that other entity made to make the case that you can afford the loan. All right. So best way to put this is you want to buy a company. Let's say you have like, I don't know, you sell lemonade. Then all of a sudden you're like, I want to buy Tropicana. And then you're like, I'm going to buy Tropicana by saying once I buy Tropicana, I can afford the loan that I used to buy Tropicana. Not that simple, but go with me here, okay? And so, why do I think this is a huge mistake? The reason I think it's a huge mistake is because market share alone, just market share, Paramount is worth roughly $11 billion, give or take. Roughly $11 billion. That includes debt from just Skydance as a whole. So if you remember, Skydance last year bought Paramount, right? So Skydance Paramount last year happened. So Skydance bought Paramount. In order to buy Paramount, Skydance had to take out a loan of around $15 billion. That's on top of a loan that Skydance already had that was worth around $800 million. So we're big money, big money. In order to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, they're adding roughly 85 billion. That's a B. $85 billion in debt is a big number. Okay, this is huge, right? So to put this fully in perspective, there's over $100 billion worth of debt that Paramount is going to make. So now, if you remember what I was talking about from the beginning of the show, I said just because you have money doesn't make you smart. All right. We are about to see something we have not seen in the media space ever. Okay, ever. Let Paramount have it. That is what Netflix said. I think Netflix is playing the long game. I think this has a snowball's chance in hell of actually surviving. I would just session the new electric Ford Bronco for you to check out, but it seems to be a China-only release. I guess you could have it imported. I don't know. No, I'm doing Lucid. Paramount app is trash, but I'm with you. Big negative on this. You think they will allow me to get a loan for about? I mean, they're willing to pay. Yo. Yes, Crow, you're hitting on the thing. This is huge. Okay. So to just put this into perspective, what is about to happen? Okay, because Skydance, that was the original company, buys Paramount. So you already have this situation that was a leveraged buyout to begin with. You use this to now buy Warner Brothers. Okay, this is huge. So what's going to happen? There's two still big hiccups here. One is the financing. Sure, if you did not know, Paramount is the CEO of Paramount is a guy named David Ellison. His father is Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison is one of the richest people in the world. There was a brief time last year he was the richest person in the world. Larry Ellison has pledged roughly $44 billion. But let me make this very clear. When you owe 111 billion, 44 billion goes real quick, right? So that is just as collateral. In order to pay the interest payment on $111 billion, given today's conditions, the interest payment alone is $7 to $9 billion. That means on like let's do the math here. We just had a huge argument last week, not argument, earlier this week that Xbox, their profitability is somewhere between $2 to $3 billion. That's profitability. You essentially have to do 3 Xboxes worth of profitability just to pay the interest on the loan you're taking out for that Paramount's going to take out to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. This is massive. Now, if you thought I was done, you're wrong. Because here's the second part. This also, everybody kept talking about the regulatory hurdle that Netflix was going to have. But I talked about this a little bit last week. There's actually not a lot of overlap between Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery. If you think about it, Netflix is not a cable network. Netflix doesn't have a news network. Netflix doesn't have like really a movie studio. The really only overlap is within the app, the ecosystems. Now let me talk to you about Paramount versus Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount's a major movie studio. Warner Brothers Discovery is a major movie studio. Paramount has CBS News and everything else. Warner Brothers Discovery has CNN, another news outlet, and so forth. Paramount Plus is a subscription-based video on-demand app. HBO Max is kind of the same deal. So you have a lot of synergies, and this is actually what regulators look at. They always look at like, okay, what are you going to do with this? Now, I totally believe they'll spin out CNN most likely, but let's get to like the actual thing that we as consumers care about on this type of stuff. I mentioned this before. If you try to go watch Westworld on the HBO Max app, you're going to have a hard time. Why? And that's because Warner Brothers Discovery, when they were going through their whole China restructuring debt when they were under AT&T, took it down. They wrote it off. So when they wrote it off, that means this is a dead asset, and we want to try something back and writing it down. What do you think is about to happen for a company a la Paramount when they have to fight just to finance on a yearly basis $111 billion worth of debt? Yes, a lot of IP is about to get written off. A lot of television shows are about to get written off. To me, these days, it feels like Exxon has been doing everything wrong. It's almost trying to get itself shut down. It could be. Purple hit. I'm telling you, I'm about to show you a really cool slide here. Like, I'm going to put this slide up for a second because I thought it was super cool. Brett Majors, that Paramount would also be. Yes. So Paramount is taking on 35 billion. Like I said, I became a Warner Brothers shareholder just because I held AT&T in a retirement account, and then they split up. And at the time, they split up because Warner Brothers held like 35 billion in debt. So to take this thing on, they need like another 84 billion in debt. And this is not even talking about what Skydance took on to pay for Paramount. That's what I'm telling you. It's over $100 billion in debt. Like, that's a lot. That's like a lot. So, so, but I'm about to show you all this because I thought this was the coolest, the coolest. Let me see if I still have it. It's super cool. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Is it here? Is it here? Yes, it's here. Okay. Okay. This is super cool, y'all. I thought this was so cool. Um, all right. Here we go. Can I maximize this? This is this too small for y'all? This might be too small. Let me see if this is better. Nope, it's the same. It's about the same size, but to let me see if I can get this a little bit bigger. I can. All right. But to just kind of put this in perspective, these are all the things that Paramount is going to own underneath it. Like these are all the IP. So that may look really small to you all, but if you look at it, like that's everything. So that's the networks, the companies, and the channels up top. And that's all the franchises, the major ones at the bottom. And it's hoping that Warner Brothers goes down like AOL. Surprisingly, this whole deal also revolves around AOL. Remember, if we go before AT&T, so that's kind of a cool thing. Where Verizon ended up buying them for like $4 billion after Time Warner bought them for like six. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Is Chaos named the Warner Brothers Squares? Business is fun. Look at all these things. Like when you look at the titles here, like again, some of this makes sense. I'm not going to say this is all trash. I am not going to say like some of this is not high quality, but you are already taking on massive things. All of DC, Rebolica, all of DC. Wow, CNN. Yes, you are now looking at it. You're looking at MTV, VH1, BET, Pluto TV, Food Network, Cooking Channel, CBS Sports, Animal Planet. Like this is massive. Fandango, Skydance, Discovery, Science, Travel, the CW, HBO, TLC. I mean, Adult Swim, Nickelodeon. Look, the TBS, TNT, Comedy Central, TLC. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. And I don't watch TV at all. I usually watch YouTube, but if I want to, well, see, now Daytona, you're hitting on something really important because the trends of you. Well, look, they have the Cooking Channel and Food Network, Obi. Cooking Channel and Food Network. Um, oh, this is crazy. Acknowledge me. I see you, Ron. I see you. I'm acknowledging you. Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you so much. Donations are greatly appreciated. Super chats, always, always. But then we look at the franchises, right? So they get Harry Potter, they get Mad Max, they get The Conjuring, The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, Gremlins, Justice League, Shazam. I don't even know why Shazam is on here, honestly. But you get that Superman, Wonder Woman, Dexter, Batman, Sonic the Hedgehog, Top Gun, Looney Tunes. This is absurd. Obi, yes, this is absurd. That's basically a monopoly on cable TV. They're so simpleton. Yes, yes. Now you all see that for everybody who is saying that this was going to be like Netflix was a monopoly, Netflix has antitrust issues. This in itself raises huge antitrust concerns. Just because everybody was looking at the subscriber count and the market power that Netflix has. But when you actually look at this, this is crazy. We should write, no way we allow badminton. Y'all now are seeing it. Y'all are seeing it. If you want, I will post that one. And Ambi, if I think you have it, put it in media share in the Discord if anybody wants to go look at that, because I know that screen was pretty small. So if you want to go look at that one, you can put in the Discord. I know Ambi has that. I had no idea Fandango was part of WP. It's part of Discovery, I think. Um, but yes. So now, okay. So you saw everything right there, right? But how do you think, to be very honest, how do you think they're going to make this work? I just want to put this out there. You don't have to be a business person. You owe a ton of debt, right? Right now, Warner Brothers just posted their first profitable year last year. And that was because you were able to do some really cool accounting stuff. Paramount is barely profitable, right? Skydance barely profitable. And then you have people like Daytona like being like, I go watch YouTube. You have other people being like, I go watch TikTok. Those trends aren't changing, right? The reason why cable TV got in trouble in the first place is because of these trends. And do you think those trends increase and accelerate? Or do you think those trends decrease? You're able to reverse your fortunes. Do you think that you're going to be able to put people just go magically back to the movie theaters? No. So the way you're going to reverse this is why it's called in economics. I've talked about this 3 times. I'm going to talk about it the 4th time tonight. There is a phenomenon in economics called a death spiral. And what a death spiral says is when you have a massive amount of debt, you look at that and you cut it. If it's not making money, you cut it. Cool job. You cut it and then you're able to write it off. And because in taxes, you can then reclaim some of it and help pay down your debt. However, and this is the tragic part, how much can you actually cut before people say you don't have what I want to watch? You're able, right now, you need subscribers. How many times do you think subscribers are going to watch something if you're not putting any quality behind it? Do you think like some of those channels that we used to watch and probably are going to go the wayside, like Kiss MTV goodbye, Kiss VH1 goodbye, Kiss, you look at the channels, you already know Cooking Channel and Food Network are gone. Like YouTube has ate that like whole market up. HGTV gone. They're just going to put like simple divine design and you name your favorite like HGTV show, and it's just going to be on repeat. TBS or TNT, you're just going to get Law and Order. You're going to get exactly what you're seeing now, but worse, right? This is what Warner Bros. Like, if you're wondering why, like, why is it anytime I go to TBS, it's always what's the show with the nerds and they're like smart with Sheldon? You either get that or you get like Friends. Can you imagine when you have to now like cut 30 to 40% of the workforce? Yeah. If you thought the app was bad now on Paramount Plus, good luck. If you thought like HBO was kind of losing some of its sparkle, good luck. This isn't like there's no magic way out of this. So if like I said, if you thought I was upset about ABK, this deal I am like, at least Microsoft had cash. You know what I mean? At least Microsoft makes money. This? At least ABK was one of the most profitable gaming companies. This? And I'm gonna come back to something I said from the very beginning. Yeah, Obi, you can get the link. You can get the link. Someone give Obi the link. If you remember what I said from the beginning, just because you have money doesn't mean you have smarts. And just because you don't have money doesn't mean you're dumb. This deal, I am going to go out on a limb and say this deal backfires real fast. Real fast. This is what consolidation looks like. This is what, when you hollow out regulatory enforcement, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you have corrupt politicians. Yeah, I'm going all the way there today. I'm going all the way there right now. This is what it looks like. Sure, the forces of capitalism are going to always push towards consolidation. But this right now is redonkulous. And it's not even just redonkulous for consumers, it's redonkulous for businesses. $100 billion. I don't think people realize that's not even like $100 billion that they have. That's they're getting a loan for $100 billion for decaying assets in an industry that is increasingly moving away from cable and movies. Like, I don't know. If you'll remember what I said about Microsoft, I always thought Microsoft would realize at some point ABK was a stupid deal. I said that. I said at one point, they gotta realize this is a stupid deal. But the one thing I always underestimate, and I do this a lot, I underestimate when pride gets in the way. Now, David Ellison has had multiple times to say, you know what? Maybe this isn't the right deal. Well, goodness. Not only do do we have a picture of David Ellison? Does someone have a picture of David Ellison? This guy looks like a guy you just want to punch in the face, man. I swear. This is the most punchable face I've seen. This isn't a slap. This is a punch. And this is like, oh, not only do you have a punchable face, but you are stupid. Stupid. That's crazy. It's $100 billion of debt. Debt. That's the crazy debt. You start $100 million in the whole thing to create the content. That's just not the simpleton. You see how? Just to cover the $100 billion, you have to cut the exact same staff and content that you need to make content. You really think AI is going to save you? Like, could you imagine? We criticize people when we say, hey, mom and dad, can you help me with my down payment for the house? And we're like, you got a down payment for your house? Look at this kid. He asked his dad for a $44 billion as collateral on a company. I don't know. I'm both shocked and I'm angry and I'm laughing hysterically at the same time. It's like I have no feeling. Like this feeling right now is one of like, this is crazy. This is crazy. His face is lo-fi. Lo-fi. Oh my god. Oh my god, what's going on, Lo-Fi? What's going on? He does have I mean it's just is what it is. It is what it is. Don't get me wrong, I think some of this is gonna be spun off. Like, right, there is probably something CNN is gonna fetch for some amount of money. So like there's gonna be things they're gonna have to spin off and divest. But yeah, if you think about it, like you're starting a business venture in a market that is shrinking $100 billion and all. I mean, I don't even think I could give someone I want to punch in the face a better gift than to say, your company is $100 billion in the hole. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, bro, your company, smart move. You really owned them. You really got them this time. Good job, David. You're such a business person. Like, my YouTube channel is more profitable than his media empire. You know what I mean? My YouTube channel. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Like when I donate money to the homeless guy on the subway, that guy has more money than this company has. That's crazy. You know, my dad, that's what he said. That's what he walks around with, man. That's what he walks around with. Like that, like we have to stick with these types of people for the next like 30 to 40 years, walking around like they're actually some savant of business. Get out of town, man. You can't make it up. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. So it's crazy. It is crazy. I don't think people quite realize when what I was saying last week, which was like I figured like at the end of the day, Netflix was a better home. Netflix makes money, right? Netflix did not have to take out a loan. Netflix actually has made solid content. Netflix has been very um strategic with how they, go about buying content. You know what I mean? How they go about like with their money. And like right now, Netflix is just for Netflix to walk away, they're walking away with $2.7 billion that Paramount that's crazy. Paramount is paying Netflix, has to pay the fee for Warner Brothers Discovery to back out. Paramount is paying $2.7 billion to Netflix. So Netflix, all they did was say, okay, we're going to walk away. We get $2.7 billion. You can't make it up. Is he high five monk? I think so. I think so. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. So we're going to get more to this. We're going to get this. We're going to get more to this. I'm going to talk about a couple more things here. We're going to talk about the big thing. I'm the heir of the Five family. We're going to do one more video, and then we're going to talk about some tariffs here in a second. And then we're going to open up the lines. If there are some questions you want to ask, put them in the chat. And or if whatnot, I will open lines if you want to come on here. But yeah, that happened literally like an hour before the show. And I was like, redonkulous. So with that said, let's get to this next trailer. All right, here we go.
Oh, you bold young thoughtless men, and take by me, and never leave your happy homes to sail the raging sea. For I have plowed the raging main this 20 years or more, but now I'm turned adrift to starve upon my native shore. By raging storms and tempests, shipwrecked 3 times I've been, and many a bloody battle upon the seas I've seen. I've seen the cannons glaring flash, I've heard its thunderous roar. Though now I'm turned adrift to starve upon my native shore. Should hostile fleets e'er venture upon the raging main, through hearts of oak we British tars will push the sea again. Come pity gentle strangers, a luckless British tar. In your defense he may hurl the thunderbolts of war. All hands! won't bless your store, for now I'm stranded at the start upon my native shore.
That is Wind Rose. It does have a catchy title. I wonder how much the person who made that song got paid. Let me see what you have to say. I think Simpleton, I saw your comment. Paramount paid $2.7 billion for the privilege of being $100 billion in debt. Yeah, they had to borrow that 2.7 too. That guy really didn't like being told no. Even got debt. He didn't. He didn't. That's mind-boggling. Like mind-boggling. I'm about to debunk this song. I'm like, you should definitely do it. Why is it so fire? It is so good. Hey, Rebolica building. It is. I'm sure they have a soundtrack. Y'all should go get it. Yeah. I'm sure I bet you it's just like a little thing. I'm not sure if they made a whole thing about it, but maybe it definitely did have a catchy jingle. Did have a catchy jingle. So when we talk about the high seas, there is something else that we have to talk about, and that is tariffs, 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 tariffs. Um, all right, so let's talk about really quick this. I'm glad Roster is back because Roster did bring this up last Friday. I did not talk about it, even though it was really big news, and we did not one but two member-only streams last year for this very topic. And who knows, maybe I'll do another one if there's something that comes about it. But if you did not hear, in the United States last year, the president unilaterally placed tariffs on a lot of countries. He used this from a ruling from the 1970s that said that he could actually do certain things to protect industry. However, this did not mean he could put tariffs, as the Supreme Court has found. That's where we were. Over the weekend, immediately, kind of like another really rich person, when you tell them no. If you can't tell, this is kind of the trend tonight. Just like another rich person, when you tell them no, they love to double down on stupidity. So, what did the president of the United States do? They said, well, I have some other rulings that I can do to put some temporary tariffs in place, even though that these said tariffs have actually raised the price for things. That's where we are. If you did not know and you're like, Purple, you're being pretty partisan. I'm actually not. This came back from both the Federal Reserve of New York as well as JP Morgan Chase. Both have said that 95% of the tariffs have not been actually absorbed by foreign countries because, let's be honest, tariffs aren't supposed to be absorbed by foreign countries. And they actually haven't been absorbed from businesses fully. They've actually, you got it, did you see it? Been absorbed from you and me and all the other consumers. So, if you remember, I said when we were talking about the game studio closure, which was what Zalik had us talking about, Ashes of Creation. I said I expect over the next 2 to 3 years, maybe sooner, 1 to 3. I expect there to be a lot of claims of fraud, claims of malpractice, claims of bankruptcy, because right now I feel like we are in a very interesting spot. Similar to what we saw with the Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix part of things, where they're going to have to cut things, which is actually quality. Similar to what we saw in the Ashes of Creation situation, in which they anticipated there to be some amazing player base. Similar to what we've seen where Sony has said that maybe what Microsoft did wasn't the best move. And similar to what Microsoft predictably did in blaming kind of the only woman on the Xbox executive team for this misfire. you're going to see a lot of businesses as that tide starts to roll back. A lot of businesses are going to be caught without protection. This reminds me a lot of what we saw during the financial um, crisis of 2000, basically what kicked off in 2007 and really hit eventually like Bernie Madoff and so forth by 2010, right? Obviously that was different. You had some banks failing, you had financial institutions failing, you had marketed securities worth zero, you had a housing crunch, and they all kind of collapsed on themselves because it was so centered in the finance and banking industry, and therefore it all kind of collapsed on itself. I see the same thing kind of happening now in this weird world of like high valuations, easy money, this anticipation that like something so stupid as what we just saw, right? Something so dumb as going $110 billion in debt for assets themselves that carry debt that weren't profitable. You know, when we talked about Xbox last week, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying any of those people are really dumb or they have wrong priorities in life. But the thing is, there's a reason why Xbox is struggling. And if you have an industry veteran in Phil Spencer, you have one of the smartest minds in business, in my opinion, who's going to do the logical thing in Sarah Bond. And you have a company that has basically, for lack of a better term, like infinite wealth. If they can't make it happen, what is a new team going to do that doesn't have the experience, that doesn't have the business expertise, and that doesn't have like and is on a shorter leash with wealth? It's not going to work. Same thing I see here. We continue to have situations in which we have people who I'm not sure if it's arrogance or stupidity, naivety, ignorance, whatnot, who are going down paths wishing for something to occur that the gravitational forces of finance just aren't going to allow to occur. Prices are expensive. Wealth disparity is a real thing. And just wishing that something's going to turn that upside down or reverse isn't going to do it. I don't care how many times you tweet about it, how many times you put a new leadership team in, how much money you're able to leverage to buy it. Like it just doesn't reverse because you say it is. And the problem is a lot of companies have been doing this lately. We haven't talked about it in a while, but the whole thing around AI. Do we actually think the trillions of dollars that literally trillions of dollars that have been pumped into AI for what essentially becomes like a helpful, like word processor on steroids, something that we can see some cool things that are done with our video and kind of marginally helps us with our software as a service programming? Is that worth trillions of dollars? Yes, me, no. You know what I mean? So again, I think the next 2 to 3 years, unfortunately, we're going to go through some pain. I've seen too many of these things happening in succession. And we're not talking like little money that you can kind of be like, oh, it's a write off of like $100 million. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. At the same time, your average consumer is struggling. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. On Cowboy's channel, we kind of went back and forth for a while asking like, well, what could like the Microsoft deal happen? And there was a couple of things where I'm like, okay, if this were to happen, okay, maybe. But even then, it's kind of like not logical, like because you have to thread such a needle. But when I look at some of this other stuff, I'm like, there's no needle to thread. It reminds me a lot of the story of Icarus in Greek mythology. And if you remember, Icarus tried to reach the sun. And what eventually happened? This is a story that kind of repeats itself throughout time. Different cultures and different people have different ways of explaining the story of Icarus. I believe today, some of our people who have infinite wealth and who are trying to travel literally to the stars and to Mars and to the moon are about to again find out what our ancestors found out 3,000, 2,500 years ago, in which if you continue to try to reach towards the sun with your arrogance, you're eventually going to fall flat on your face. That's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got. That's what I got. You can never have too many news propaganda channels at Jeff Jack. Isn't that Fox? What's going on? It will be renamed TNN. Flash is coming to save Xbox. I don't know. Rest in peace, CNN. I don't know. My laptop's logged into a different account than my phone. No worries, Robolica. No, we just roll our eyes here. Can't say I have to go pay the tariffs because Canada has to pay the tariffs, not the USA. Do not listen to her. Oh my goodness. What's going on, Jeff? What's going on? What's going on? Like I said, Roster brought this one up. So blame him. I was using AI to make some scripts, but it didn't save me that much time since the script didn't work as it was supposed to. Well, Roster, don't worry. You're just doing it the wrong way because someone tells us that AI is going to work. So much winning. I mean, I guess so. We won the gold medal from Canada. He was rewarded with sunshine kisses. Ooh, yeah, he kind of was. I prefer the George Costanza version of Icarus. I flew too close to the sun on wings of pastrami. Kind of did that too. I remember that. Thank you so much. I'm back on my phone now. Ooh, I see what you did there, Robolica. Robolica YouTube versus Robolica. I see what you're doing there. And who do we got? Thank you so much, Ambi, for that one. We got Silly Ian Lover. Oh, did we break? It's broken. It's broken. Oh, we tried. We tried. I'm tired of winning. Are you tired? I'm gonna post this one here for anybody who wants to come on. I mean, I did not think this week was gonna be that much stuff, but there was a ton of news. A ton of news. I don't even think I hit all the news. Um, there's stuff with there's so many things. There's stuff with Valve. There's a ton of news. But I got the one that I can make a show of. No worries, Chairman. I know you're working on these days, but I appreciate the lurk. I lurk on your channel too. I remember you went live last week on the ABK on the Microsoft stuff. I was there. I was there. Let me do this. Let me do this. If anybody wants to come, if not, we can. Or if you have a question, I'll address it. I know Audi said he had a lot of questions and he had 8 points, like an 8-point change management strategy. So I don't, is it time for Lo-Fi to come on? I miss his conspiracy theories. Lo-Fi's conspiracy theories? What are you talking about? Too much winning. It is a ton of winning. I need to redo my brow. But yeah, so I don't know. I do know like there's only one way this ends. And so here he is. Here he is, his 8-point dissertation. So let's go with none other
Hello.
than Audi. What's going on, Audi?
Hey, so how are you today? Let's
I'm
begin.
I'm I'm good. I was
Yeah,
busy with work today. How are you?
I'm good. Busy.
That's good. That's good. All right, so you got 8 points. Did I
Okay.
address any of the points?
You did.
Okay. Okay, as long as I
Okay.
knocked out some of them.
So, let's start at the top then. Discord and Fluxer. What do you know about that?
Discord and Fluxer. Well, I did have something on Discord about where they were pushing back the age verification.
Mhm.
So I did have that. I did not talk about that. But is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
So, um, Discord, for those that don't know, they announced that, they are gonna start doing age verification for, users. Fluxer, is a in response to that, was a open source,
Ah, yeah.
competitor to
Yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Discord,
yes.
that made recent waves. Um, they also their servers have been up and down of recent because of the massive influx of, new users,
Okay.
and
So
that's go ahead.
so I do remember, so I do know, and I remember you moved to Fluxer, if I recall.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. So so is the question, am I gonna move to Flux, or what's the point?
Uh, yeah, that's basically my for the question.
Am I gonna move to Fluxer?
Yeah.
Pro Probably not, just
Mhm.
because I'm curious how the age verifications go. I didn't receive anything about age verification. I am actually, I think you all made a good point about data, like where's our data housed? It's actually really interesting, as I just got a notice from Conduent that my social security number, home address, phone number, and birth date has been shared on the black web. S-
Mhm.
So, I understand um, data privacy, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it's something that crosses a line for me. I don't. I go on Discord like twice a week,
Yeah.
so
I
I'm not
mean,
sure if it's something.
for me, I don't have the problem with the concept of age verification. It's the more of the company that they chose to partner with to do it. They're
Hmm,
not, reliable
that's
because
fair.
they have multiple histories of, data breaches and, of, identities being stolen and all of that from those data breaches. For example, with Roblox.
That's fair. Like I said, I think we'll just have to see. I know Discord said they're pushing it back. It's something I'll monitor. But to
Mhm.
be very honest, like I said, I think I average yearly some retailer, some institution that I've lost my data on. And it's like, I hear you. I'm not going to fault anybody for moving to Fluxer.
Mhm.
At the same time, I just think it's not enough. It's not enough momentum to move myself.
Yeah.
Guilty. Sorry, purple. Is that you, Noisy? How's it going, Noisy? All right, what's point number two?
Okay, so point number 2 is, what books have you been reading?
What books have I been reading? I actually started a book on, strange enough,
Mhm.
18th century life. It's actually not even really a novel. It's more like a biography about something. So that's the
Mhm.
one I actually started, but I actually haven't. I haven't really had energy to gain to read or anything. Like, so I'm really trying to maybe take some time off. Um, we'll see. Like, we'll see. I haven't really had time to do anything. What about you?
For me, I forget the name of the title. Let me look at it real quick. Um, it's called, let's see, Superfish, if you heard of
Superfish. I've not heard of it. I'll look it up though. I'll look it up.
it.
I'll look it up.
It's more of a webtoon than a standard book, but
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. There's always a new book. We'll see. My phone's Superfish book. Okay, okay. So that was my book. But I'll give you better once I kind of look into it. I'll give you more of I'll hit you up on Discord when I. It's a children's book. Is it a children's book?
no. Here.
There's definitely a Superfish by Mary Lee. Um, hey, Lo-Fi, how are you? I did not realize Lo-Fi was in the background. All right, all right. Um, but yeah, we'll get to it.
Okay, so basically the plot synopsis of Superfish is a DJ, a normal guy, seeking a quiet life who accidentally absorbed a magic power, uh, well, a magic core of which named Superfish during a chaotic encounter.
Seems like it's kind of has some interesting plots in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So this has Audi written all over it.
Yep.
Okay, I learned something about you every single time, Audi. All right, Superfish is Audie's book. Canadian Revenue Agent. Sure, I hear you. I think there's other ways we could do it. I just ordered Dungeon Crawler Carl from Amazon. I did. I didn't even know that. Is that a book or a game? All right, Audi. What's point number 3? Got to get through them.
Okay.
Got to try.
So, point number 3 is, have you done any more research on Hightail?
On Hightail, I have not. I didn't. No, I have not. I have
Okay.
not.
Okay,
Are
that's
you
okay.
upset? Are you disappointed? Are you
Nope.
disappointed?
No.
All right.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to put
so,
it down as a note. I gotta do it as a note.
let's go on to, WBD.
Okay.
Um, I'm really not surprised that Netflix backed out once, Paramount raised their offer, personally. Just
I
looking
mean,
at their history.
I think Netflix is very disciplined, right? That's the one thing everybody
Yeah.
always says about them. I think um I think there's a very real possibility, as Crow has said, as Simpleton has said, as a few people in chat have mentioned, that that whatever is Paramount, Skydance, Warner Brothers Discovery gets eventually dissolved, and there's a potential that Netflix will get it even cheaper. So I think
Well,
um go ahead.
uh, for me and what they've done on, previous, uh, attempts at acquiring different, studios with IP, and if they didn't succeed, they would normally then go to licensing those IPs from that studio that they wanted to make works on.
I mean, they've tried this, right? So if we think about Marvel, it's probably the best example where they licensed Marvel IP and then Disney pulled the Marvel IP,
Mhm.
right? And so I think there is something that Netflix is always going to be kind of like, what is a fair price to license? And maybe that's something that David Ellison ends up, that they become a licensing house of IP. That might be a path forward. But again, for everything that they license out, that means that's something they themselves cannot make.
Mm.
So if we think about the massive amount of debt, if you're gonna license out some of your best IP, let's say they license out DC IP to Netflix, well, that drives
I
people to
mean,
Netflix.
they already have, though.
Well, say
Uh,
more, say more.
Case in point, The Flash, that is a, DC IP. That
That's a
is
Warner
in like
Brothers. That's different from
oh,
Warner Brothers
yeah,
Discovery. That's Warner
sorry.
Brothers Discovery. That's not
Yeah,
Paramount. So
yeah.
so when we think about Warner Brothers Discovery, yes, when they were within AT&T and they had to raise a ton of money,
Avatar, that's the one.
again, that was Warner Brothers Discovery, and when they had to raise a ton of money and they themselves didn't have it, they licensed it out. If you're
Mhm.
saying you literally paid all this money just to have a licensing company, that's where you have to ask the question of like,
But, Avatar's owned by Paramount,
like
not
Avatar.
WB. I mean, like,
So
the
pa-
Airbender kind.
so when did when did Skydance purchase Paramount?
Last year,
When did
2
they
or 3.
sign the licensing deal?
Let's see. They signed a licensing deal to Netflix about 2 years ago, if I remember to create
So
the show.
was that Skydance Paramount who signed the license deal, or was that Paramount who signed the licensing deal?
It would be probably Paramount that signed the deal.
Paramount who signed the deal, exactly. So if you're trying, are you more like it's just you're gonna run into the same issue Disney ran into, right? With
Mhm,
Netflix. Eventually you're going to put like there's a reason why we don't have another Luke Cage or we don't have another uh Sarah Sarah Jones or Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones. Why am I not thinking of Sarah Jones? Jessica Jones, right? Because those were originally made by Netflix. Netflix initially had the license for the Marvel IP. Disney pulled that IP back, right? We can also
mhm,
see the same thing with Warner Brothers. Also had the IP initially, and then Warner Brothers Discovery pulled the IP back. And so you're right, they could, but when you're talking about that amount of money, it becomes more than licensing. It's equivalent of like let's use video games because it's a little bit easier to conceptualize. A licensing deal at the end of the day only nets you, depending on the license, between 2 to 5% of like the actual revenue that's generated. That's like considered massive.
mhm,
So let's say Netflix made $1 billion on some IP. Well, Warner Brothers Discovery is only going to see 50 million of that, right? 5% is not enough to justify why buy the IP then. You know what I mean? Especially at
mhm.
that you bought it. You're not leasing it. It doesn't act like a house where you rent it out.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones will be on the new Daredevil. Is it the same Jessica Jones? So we'll see. So all right. So that's how I feel about it. I just
Yeah,
feel like the amount of debt that they have is so high that they don't need 5%, they need like 50%. You know what I mean? Like they need to generate revenue. And
yeah,
you're not going to generate the amount of revenue they need to generate without creating the show yourself.
yeah. So, let's move on to point what was it, 5 now?
Yeah, 5. Let's go.
Yeah. It's been a week since Warframe released on mobile. Do you want to know the,
Yes. Yes, go for it.
download count?
Go for it.
Uh, it is currently sitting at 1.5 million downloads.
That's still really good. That's still really successful. But when you set the bar at 83 million
Yeah,
Audi, that is a little bit
yeah,
short of 83, but 1.5 is still really
yeah,
good. It's still really good. Still really good.
yeah.
So that's still good. All right. So you're one of the yours. You have a whole bunch of people to play Warframe with.
Mhm. A whole
I
lot
got it.
across all the platforms.
Same actress
Uh,
playing Jessica Jones. Interesting. Okay. I thought she did a good job. I thought I liked Jessica Jones. I did like her. I thought it was a very real, like
it was just
female.
Jessica Jones.
She's the one who's like really strong. She's like
Oh
really
yeah,
strong.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been like a while, but that was like when Netflix was like hitting its stride, you know? So that's
Mhm.
why I'm like, yeah. All right. Point number
Okay.
6. We're getting it down.
RE9 releasing in just a couple hours.
RE9?
Yeah, Resident Evil.
Oh my
Requiem.
god. Yes, yes. I actually have some stuff about Resident Evil. So, that was actually like I said, when you said RE, I thought it reminded me of
Yeah.
like ARI. But
Yeah.
no, you're exactly right. I actually have some stuff here. As you can see, physical copies of Resident Evil Requiem are almost entirely sold out online.
Mhm.
So some really big stuff here. It goes, I think that's what you're saying. Sits at a 88 on PlayStation. Surprisingly, it sits at a 90 on Nintendo Switch. Um, they are saying that it runs just as well on Nintendo Switch as it does on PlayStation. So I think it's a pretty good, I mean, it seems like it's getting a lot of positive press.
Mhm.
So I guess,
Yeah. I
I
am
guess.
gonna be streaming it when the embargo lifts.
That's awesome. We will be watching. We'll watch. We
Mhm.
will watch. We will
Which will
watch
be at midnight. So yeah.
tonight.
Yep.
Twitch.
Twitch. Yep.
Well, we will be letting people know that at the end of the show, we will we will push people towards you.
Okay, and then let's touch on Ashes of Creation.
Okay, so this was Zalix thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that game, uh, I always thought it wouldn't be successful. Like I had a feeling in the back of my mind what that was saying was like this game just doesn't have the spark for it to be there for a long term. Just based on
Yeah.
how they were taking the studio and everything that they were doing internally and externally.
Fair. I think that's fair.
So I wasn't really surprised when they were shutting down.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily that they're shutting down. That was the thing. I think it's the fraudulent behavior.
Hmm.
I mean, if it was just a studio shutting down, that doesn't really turn a lot of heads. But if it's like the solvency problems and
Yeah.
the fraudulent, like you're telling banks one thing, you're telling gamers one thing, and it seems like you've just created an entire situation of fraud in the hundreds of millions of dollars for an independent
Hmm.
gaming company. We probably haven't seen that in the gaming space. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of it, but we just haven't
Hmm.
seen that at that scale.
Okay, and my final point is, I guess, tomorrow is Pokemon Day, which is the 30th
Oh,
anniversary of Pokemon.
Pokemon. Okay.
Uh, they are expected to be announcing Gen 10 of the Pokemon games.
Wow.
Um,
Well, I mean, I think it speaks volumes of the franchise,
mhm,
like um I probably missed the Pokemon wave. Like I was pretty old when it like was I remember like babysitting people who were
yeah,
playing Pokemon. So no, I think it's kind of cool.
yeah. And on top of that, I just hope that they announce my personal favorite Pokemon game, Pokemon Black and White, which is
Pokemon
Generation
Black.
5.
Oh wow. Okay. So I should be looking out for this for a Pokemon Black announcement.
Yeah,
Okay. I will be on
because
the lookout. So I got two things. I got to look at Hytale and Pokemon
mhm,
Black. and
Yep.
the fish book, Superfish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. All right. I got three. I got three things. I got three things.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's all of the points I have written down here.
Oh my goodness, Abby, you're so crazy. You literally had 8 points. I did. I thought you were lying. I actually thought you were
Nope.
joking, but you literally had 8 separate points. That's
What?
crazy. Well, you're always welcome.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
No worries. No worries.
So,
Well, thank you. Go ahead.
what games are you planning to play in the coming months?
Uh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. Like as I was telling Cowboy on his channel, and I think I mentioned it a little bit last week. Like, I mean, I'm in a unique spot. Like, I need
Mhm,
to like there are things like I need to finish Mio Memories in Orbit. Like, I was gonna try to 100% it like Simpleton, but I've come to the conclusion that my platforming skills are not good enough, or at least I don't have the patience. And so that's kind of like the one of the last things I had to do. So I may just go ahead and beat the game because I've gotten pretty like I can go and fight the I can go beat the game now. But after that, probably nothing for about a month, honestly.
mhm,
I have some travel coming up and some other work related stuff that probably won't game that much.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it would probably be, well, the major obvious one is Resident Evil.
Set that yes for tomorrow.
Yep. Beyond that, more Dune because Zaylik got me addicted to it.
That's super cool. She likes it. So I'm glad Zayla got you into it. And I know y'all were playing Split Fiction. So it's
Mhm.
cool that y'all got each other to play that with.
Uh, and also Hytale.
I You know what? I need to go look. Okay, I will go look it up, Howdy. I will go look it up.
Mhm. See. Was there, I did see something else, um, this morning. I forget what it was. Hang on, let me see if I can try to find it.
Yeah, Rebolica wants to know if you're playing Dune with Granite as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we all joined the same server,
Okay.
which is, with Mr. Temp.
So there you go, Rebolica. They are playing with each other.
Where was it? Hang on. Oh, yeah, have you heard about this game called Paralyzed?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, that's another game that, sparked my interest, and it may, spark Republica's as well, and her interest in The
Paralyzed.
Sims.
I will go
Mhm.
check it out. I will go check it out.
It's more of like a cartoony, Sims. That's how I would describe it. Sims, but more cartoon.
I will go. Obviously, if y'all have something minus Hightail, I will go check it out. No, I'm gonna go check out Hightail. I just been busy. I've been busy.
Yeah.
I've been busy.
Okay. I think that's all that I
Oh
had
my goodness,
for
Addie. Well, you're so
today.
adorable. But yeah, anytime you have anything, you're free to come on
Yep.
and go for it. But I have my marching orders, and I will go
Mhm.
check Life Sim. Yes, she's super excited. I can tell Rebecca is super excited about this.
Yeah.
So I was actually watching Rebecca stream this week. So It's cool to catch her.
And I will check out that book that you're reading.
Oh my goodness. No, I need to check out your book. I have like give me a few weeks and then I
Okay.
might have something new, but not like right now. I'm just
Yeah,
exhausted with life.
I get that.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much, Audi, for coming on. We're going to get lo-fi on here in a second. But any last words for you?
Like I said, I'll be streaming later with Resident Evil Requiem once the embargo release. Beyond that, I'll probably be streaming again tomorrow around this time, not at midnight.
Well, we should be around. We should be around.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank
Okay.
you so much, Audi, for coming by. And thank you. That is Audi. So thank you, Audi. And midnight and tomorrow. So you're going to catch Audi.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Audi.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to bring in lo-fi. We're going to bring in lo-fi here really quick. Let me see if I got lo-fi. Lo-fi, what's going on?
What's up?
Hey, Lo.
One sec. Hold on. I have to ask ChatGPT something. Hey. Okay, how am I? My friend Perp wants to know how I'm doing.
Oh my goodness, you're ridiculous.
Hold on one sec.
You're ridiculous.
I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good? Okay, that's good to
ChatGPT
hear.
says I should tell you that I'm doing pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What's going on, Lo-Fi?
Paying homage to my AI overlord.
Oh,
Yeah.
what does paying homage mean?
Whatever it wants. I'm just giving in right now.
Well, I do ask it questions.
Shout out
a
to
lot of
Audi.
times.
That was like everything I had written down. He talked about already. So
Audi had like a 10-point list. He said 8, but it turned out to be 10.
it was
Shout out
good.
to Audi. Audi he was organized.
It was all good stuff.
So
I
shout-
like things I'm thinking about, like the Discord. You know me, I'm pretty private. I'm pretty
You are pretty
yeah.
He
I
was
try to
on
be
it. That was his
private.
first one. That was his first one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And you know what? I'm just gonna give in. They already got us beat. You could try to be private. They got us beat. Google's gonna do the age everybody's gonna do the age verification eventually. So it's
Because
they
they're
got
getting
us.
sued majorly. They're getting majorly sued.
Yeah, but
And
it's
so
pretty evasive though. Like you just like I don't know if you can get around not being, you know what I mean? Like, is there any anonymity left?
I think you're right, but no, I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
And there's value
I
to
think
anonymity, I think. But
there is value, but I also feel like it's kind of like, okay, this is going to sound crazy. So I want to put that out there. This is going to be a crazy thought. But if we're really saying like social media and the internet is like a public square and so forth, then that's kind of like any other public space that in order to go certain
oh no, I'm more
spaces.
paranoid than that. It goes deeper than that.
Okay.
Like I'm already thinking the NSA's been listening to us, but how do you sort through all that? And now there's all this AI. That's how you sort through it. They got us. You got a little spy device that you carry in your pocket all day, and it's listening to you, and it's Google, and it's Apple, and probably about like 3 corporations or something like that. And they all see that's why Netflix pulled up. They found out that they had a parent company that they shared, and they were like, what are we doing here?
No, I mean, maybe. I will say, I mean, maybe. I mean, I think that
put your tinfoil hats on.
Oh my goodness. Do I think that there's
Do I
ways
think
to
there's only
listen?
5 corporations that own everything? Yes, but don't be afraid. Just give in, like I said, just give in to your AI overlord now. Like, think about it. Maybe there's one AI that's writing all the code for everything right now.
I think I don't think you're wrong. I think that there's definitely a form of AI, but I also think that there are, just like everything else. Like there's going to be bumps there's going to be major bumps, and one of them is for everything that they're saying about AI. I don't necessarily think a lot of it is necessarily new, right? I think there's been ways to track people. I think maybe the way that it's all coming together is a little bit more streamlined, but I think there's always been ways to track.
I think we're gonna find out what Kafibi is if we keep looking through those
Oh
files.
my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're ridiculous, Levi. You're ridiculous.
I don't know where I pulled that one out of, but
It came, and it works. It
it's
works.
right there. Oh yeah, and then Hightail. Okay. That I haven't paid attention to it since the guy got it back, but I'm so glad he got it back. That is such a cool story. That's the coolest thing happening in gaming right now is Hightail.
So I'm gonna have to look up this hightail thing because you, Audi, and I believe Jeff Janak have all talked about hightail. And I think I have looked it up, and I was like, I don't think this is for me. But I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, this is like the Minecraft game.
It is. Kind of.
Yeah. So I do remember seeing this game. Now I look at it.
That
And I
game's
think
they've been working on that for years. Like there's like a really cool story behind it. It's a really cool story.
I think even last week when Audi brought it up, I said this looks like I felt like this was like more like a lo-fi monk thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I've been, like I said, I've been paying attention to it, but like right now, just the fact that like it was cool that it got picked up by Riot, and then well, you know what happened there. So like it's just really cool. The guy ended up getting the rights back to his game, so and then he's continuing to work on it.
No, it looks decent. I think it looks in that family, and
It
makes
does. And the cool thing about that, Perp, is you got Minecraft, and all these people love Minecraft, but then Microsoft got it, and it feels a little corporate. It feels a little bit corporate. And this guy, you know, he's got a love for the game, and you can see the love, and you can feel the love when you're looking at what they're producing. So that's the difference there.
Nah, like I think it looks cool. I think
Yeah.
I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool.
For sure. For sure.
100%. So hightail.
ChatGPT told me to say that though. I just want to frame that.
Oh my god. You have to let people know when chat. You have to know when AI is part of content creation. So now I have to put a little. This stream was brought to us by AI now. Yeah.
Well, there's that.
There's that. AI helped put together the stream powered by ChatGPT.
So one guy owns all of those networks now, is what you're telling me? And they're not even profitable.
So you said, does one guy own all of it?
Like all those networks. You showed a graphic.
Say it again, Levi. You're coming.
You showed a graphic earlier that had all those networks on it.
Yeah. One guy owns it all. One guy opens up.
That's exactly what we want. That's what we need. One guy.
That one right there, that whole thing. One guy owns it. That's one guy.
Oh no. Oh well, that's perfect. That looks like freedom of speech to me.
Wait, am I not talking? Am I coming in wrong? Am I coming in bad?
It's my internet. No, it's me. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't think purple talking on our screen right now is real. All right, no worries. All right, Lo-Fi, come back in if you need. Is it me? Can y'all see me? I feel like y'all can. I feel like y'all can. But yeah, that's all owned by one person or one entity. Hey, bro, look up the game Burbank that is being canceled. Oh, I feel like that's a sad story. I feel like that's a sad story. But let me see Burbank. Man, this is gonna take a whole bunch because there's like a Burbank, California. So I feel like this is going to take me a second to find. Um, you really said I see right through you. You do, Daytona. Spoils Burbank's home opener. Okay. Okay, so XCOM designer. So the XCOM designer. It's weird. I put Burbank game and it brought me up a soccer game as well as a softball game. I told you if you Burbank game is going to take me a while, but I think I found it. Midsummer Studios founder and former. Oh no. So Midsummer's closing down. The reason I think of Midsummer is because I think of Midsummer, the horror movie, and that's like I think very pretty horror. So anytime I hear like Midsummer, it looks bad, but yeah, this is sad. Oh, and it's like Life Sims plus the Truman Show. That's why you were following. Oh, you haven't seen this one, Noisy? It's my own little shirt. So it says the proof is in the plane. And you can purchase this if you want one. In the links, there's a link, there's a store there. So you can get it in black or white or a t-shirt. So a couple of people have bought them. But yeah, it's proof is in the plane. It is like a degree in a shading off from Nintendo coloring, but that's what it says. That's what it says. That's what it says, Noisy. Thanks for asking. Yeah, we launched the store last year around this time. Oh, you never heard of it until 2 days ago. Well, that's probably why they're closing down. That's probably why they're closing down. But I do find it sad. I do find it sad. You know what I mean? Um, so we'll have to see. Yeah. No worries, Noisy. No worries. Yeah. But we lost Lo-Fi. We lost Lo-Fi. But so what was Lo-Fi talking about towards the end there? Oh, well, he was talking about the studios. Yeah, we talked about that. We did that. I did my little monologue. Did y'all notice when I started talking about tariffs, we lost like 4 viewers? Always happens. But it's okay. It's okay. Um, but yeah, I think we're just gonna see more of this. We're gonna see more studios closing. We're gonna see more just everything. Because I feel like this is the beginning of like I said this last week, even though Cowboy wrote in the comments, he said like he's living his best life, which I totally respect. I also feel like it could also be true that some people are not living their best life right now. And I think that's what he's um I think that reality is going like more people are going to be not living their best life than living their best life, and that's where the rub comes from. Just my 2 cents on that. But if Lo-Fi doesn't come back, we'll give Lo-Fi like 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna shut it down. I have an appointment tomorrow that I need to be ready for. So I want to be ready for that. Guess that makes sense, right? I have an appointment I want to be ready for. So yeah, so I do have that coming up. And but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. see what happens. But yeah, we covered a lot of ground today. If you want to see everything, I'll be talking more about Warner Brothers are on my stream because I have a little bit more of a hot take about it while I wait for the embargo. No worries, Addie. I may during my chatting sweetment consortment. So we will definitely be pushing people towards you. I cannot say I will be up at that time. Like I said, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, an exam that's actually really important. So I want to be somewhat refreshed for that. And so we shall see. We shall see. We shall see that. But yeah, I would love to if you can post it on YouTube, your hot take. I know you were going for the deal. So or you were going for Paramount to get Warner Brothers Discovery. Like I said, I have some huge reservations against it. And I think I kind of outlined that out as best I could today. You know, some of it's financial, some of it's from a media standpoint, some of it is just um, from like a consolidation perspective, some of it's like even how this even was able to get through by leveraging like what is blatant corruption in my opinion. So I think I did all that. 6 years theory suggests all people are six or fewer social connections away from each other. As a result, a chain of a friend connect any two people on Earth. Well, that's fair. That's fair. I know I've heard it with Kevin Bacon. 6 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon. Um, but I'm not sure if 6 degrees can connect everyone. Like I think there's some like maybe central nodes and that relies on that, but it really depends on how fast you can connect to people. Yeah, it used to be the things about Kevin Bacon, but I'm still not sure if it can connect to everybody. I think it's wishful thinking, but I think it's hard. No worries, Lo-Fi. No worries. Well, what's no worry? We'll so next week I have to see. I should be able to do the show next week. I know that there is a I may be flying, but I think I'm gonna fly Friday. I have to fly. I'm gonna be flying with. I'm gonna be flying to the West Coast, so I think I can leave Friday and and still do the show on Thursday. And then I'm not streaming on the weekend, so I should be back anyway by Sunday. My Sims games for a series of YouTube videos I want to make. Go for it, Revolk. I told you should do the 24-hour stream. You should do the 24-hour stream. I think it'd be kind of cool. But yeah. All right, y'all. Well, it is 10:30, or I think it's a little later than 10:30. It's 10:33. I gotta go wash my face. I gotta go stretch. I gotta go finish some stuff for work. I just realized that. And yeah, I will get back to you all soon. Wit, if you're out there, I'm gonna be texting you to see if we can move our call earlier. So Wit, if you're out there, because my appointment is 2 to 3, and I don't know if I'll be able to talk at 3. Get involved in a group like the 500 for Star Wars costuming group, and you get to meet actors real quick. Really? I would imagine Ravalica. 24-hour streams are fun. Audi, you were like dying. You were like dying there. Oh, thank you, Daytona. All right, y'all. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, I don't care where you came, how you came, why you came, what you came on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, the proof is in the plane. All right, take care, y'all. Thank you all. See ya on the next one. Okay, later.